Hello and welcome to another Arkis video. Today it's update day on Gran Turismo 7. This is update 1.43. We've got 3 new cars. We also got some BOP changes in Group 3 and Group 4, long awaited since we had some very overpowered cars in those 2 categories. And finally other various adjustments to the game, as it usually is with these updates. With me being the nerd I am of course going to focus on what might be the least desirable part of this update, and you can already see it running in the background. I am going to have a look at the newly added Renault 4. And before we get started, if you are enjoying the content, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. It is highly appreciated. Now let's get on with the video. It's Thursday morning. We've been waiting for the game to get back online after the update. We are jumping straight into the used cars dealership. We are picking up the newly added car. We've got the Audi TT, the Mitsubishi Lancer, and finally we've got the Renault 4. The Renault 4 debuted in the early 1960s. It was very much inspired by the Citroën 2CV that debuted roughly a decade earlier. So there are many similarities, but Renault had some of their own solutions to making a cheap car for the people. First, let's listen to that beast of an engine. The Renault 4 ran for many years, all the way up to the early 90s. This car is from '85 and it's a GTL, but that's more a trim level. Don't expect any power. But first we are going to have a look at a few of this car's quirks. And the first one is that it actually has different wheelbase on each side of the car. If you look at the left side of the car, you'll see the gap is much smaller between the door and the wheel arch than it is on the right hand side of the car. That's because the rear suspension uses torsion bars, so you've got 2 metal bars running across the car from one side to another, and that gives that difference. And of course it's the same in the game. Now let's have a look at the dashboard gear shift. Just like in the 2CV, the shifter is mounted on the dashboard, and you can see you've got a long rod going through the dashboard all the way over the engine, because the gearbox is in front of the engine, and then it's connected to the actual gear stick coming out of the gearbox, very loosely connected. But it seems to work. Very simple setup, but sure looks a bit wonky when you look at it. And inside the car you've got neutral, then we've got first gear, second gear, third gear and fourth gear, and reverse over and back towards you. So basically an H pattern. And now let's try it out for ourselves in the game. So we are starting. Can we get a bit of wheel spin? No, not really. So first gear, shifting up to second gear, and in a while we are continuing to third gear, and finally eventually we will get up to fourth gear. And I think I am going to, it takes some time, be patient, up to fourth gear. And I think we are going to test reverse, which is over to the right and back towards us. And let's see, can we do a reverse 360 in this car? Oh yeah, no problem. So let's try to take this car to a dirt track. French cars from this period really had soft suspension built for the very worn out roads in post-war France. That both goes for the 2CV, for the Renault 4, and in fact for a lot of other cars. And it's great fun to take this to a dirt track and just see the suspension do its work. This is a car I very much remember from my childhood. The Danish post office used these all the way up through the 1980s, all the way into the early 90s, and they really took a beating from the post workers, but they were surprisingly sturdy. I've never had the chance to drive a Renault 4 in real life, unlike the 2CV, which I have driven on a couple of occasions, but I've certainly been a passenger in one of those more than once, and the very tinny sound in the interior when you are in VR is very recognizable, and I think they really nailed that. I am sure there is a lot of fun to be had with this car. We are towards the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye bye.